have to say this because my Central Florida campus is my guinea pig a little bit. I put pre-recorded sessions on your class because we're trying something out to see if we can just post all the pre-recorded sessions. We're doing that because I think it helps the students. Like, you don't have to technically wait until after class is over and we post. If you don't come to class to get the live session, like, you can actually get it whenever you want. So we're just trying it out. My Fort Myers session, they will actually get this live session post once I'm finished. But if all goes well, we'll start to just pre-post pre-recorded sessions. Now, the thing of it is, it won't be your specific classroom. It'll still be the same content, but you'll just see some strange people's icons on the video because they won't necessarily be you, but essentially it's the same content. So, all right. So tonight we are in chapter 1, and chapter 1 is all about preparing for your career. Now, I know a lot of you may be like, oh, okay, as we discussed yesterday, why do I need this course? And hopefully by the end of this session, you'll truly understand it outside of what we talked about yesterday. Before we get started, though, are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions regarding what they worked on yesterday, the discussion post, the accessing the classroom? Any questions? Okay. Also, I wanted to remind everyone that, hopefully none of you have this issue, but in order to access your assignments, please remember that you have to do the online pledge or else you won't have access. I always get one or two people that say, I don't have access to my assignments. Typically, it's because they did not do the online pledge. I also want to make a comment about people using their cell phones to access the course. Just note that, obviously the application is going to look very different than if you go through like a Safari on your phone. And even sometimes when you do use your phone, I've been told that the full functionality of the online platform is not available if you're using your phone. So you may have to go into the course using a desktop or a laptop if you're finding that there's some functionalities that are not accessible to you. So make sure you try that before you call in, because if it's not working on your cell phone, which it may not, then you may need to try a laptop or a desktop. All right. Also want to make a comment about participation. So as I was talking to the Fort Myers campus, in order to get attendance, right? In order to get attendance, please note that while we love you coming to the live session, and I'm so happy to have all of you, that your attendance is calculated by your not your discussion, excuse me, your participation live session question post. So at the end of each live session, you'll get some type of question. Sometimes it is a mini assignment that you have to complete before 10 p.m. in order for your attendance to be posted. And remember, attendance is 25% of your grade. So please, 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 I tell people, I won't even feel bad if you're logged into your computer right now, and as soon as I give you this question, please go and do the question. Now, some of y'all can cheat a little bit if you're in the Central Florida campus because you've already have a pre-recorded session, so you already know what the live session question is. So please make sure you complete that. Try to get it done before 10 p.m. because I know sometimes I've heard of people doing it at 9:59 for some unspoken reason. Maybe it's because they're getting off work and trying to get home, and it doesn't post. And once I post attendance, sometimes it picks it up like 15 minutes later if you're posting like at 9:59, 9:58. So don't do yourself that disservice. Try to get it in as soon as possible. Most of these questions are super simple, so just don't wait about it. Don't wait around, just get it done. I know some people, stop and go have dinner, pick up kids, whatever you need to do, but then they forget to do the assignment. So I always say before you log off, just do it really quickly, right? All right. Now, last thing on your discussion post, guys, please make sure you're paying attention to the word count on the discussion post. That is really so your classmates can have something to respond to, because each classmate needs to respond to at least one person. So, help them out by writing something, more than 2 sentences so they can have something to respond to. Okay. Go ahead, Kaya.
I just wanted to see what the live conference question was, because I didn't see you post it or say anything. I think I missed it.
No, I haven't given it yet. It's at the end of the session. Maybe
Okay,
you
thank you
heard
so much.
me. No, no, no. You probably heard me say that um, the pre-recorded session has the live question on it. So if you've seen the pre-recorded session, it's there. But
Okay,
I'm
thank
also going to
you.
give it at the end of the course. Yeah, sorry about that if I confused you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so getting into chapter one. Chapter one is all about planning. Now, a lot of us do planning all the time. We may have our financial plans, we may have vacation plans, we have all kinds of plans. In your head, you may have thought about how you want to live your life. Like some of you have visions of what you want your financial life to look like, whether it's you want to buy a ranch, others want to live, you know, near the water. Maybe some people want to live in the city and live in a condo or whatever, you know, but you have to then convert that lifestyle into money, right? Like how much money is that going to take? And then you have to drill down even further and convert that into a career, right? And hopefully the career you chose is goes in tandem with the lifestyle that you want. Some of us thought of that through, some of us did not. Well, how does that relate to you? Well, when you are thinking about your career, you need a career plan that one is able to support your financial plan, whatever that is, but also to ensure that you are successful. It needs a plan. I don't know if you've ever heard of the phrase, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, because most people do not stumble into success, right? We don't know of too many people that just say, you know what, I got to the end of my life and I was just successful without planning anything. Like that is just not common for most of us. So when you're thinking about this career plan, you have to think it through in terms of where your industry is going, how successful do you want to be, is going to be different from person to person. Even if all of you, which all of you are, kind of starting at the same place in this career, all of you are going into different directions. So your career plan is going to be different from person to person, right? And your career is much, much different from your job, because your career hopefully will take you to whatever plateau you're trying to reach. So when you're thinking about your career, is good to start doing what we call career search, because you need to figure out what your career pathway is going to be. There's a lot of great websites like the Occupational Information Network and emerging occupations websites that talk about your specific industries. Like you can go to even the US Department of Labor and look up, what's happening in the HVAC industry, what's happening in the veterinary industry, what's happening in welding and so forth, to see what is the trajectory of your industry here in the region, in Florida, in the nation, globally. What's happening? Is technology taking over? Are you guys moving into something that is a little bit more environmental? Like what is going on? And then how does that relate to your career? And how are you going to plan your career around what's happening in your industry. So before you can even answer, okay, what is my long-term objective? You're going to have to do some research. And that's one of the things that we're going to have you do in this course is come up with some long-term objectives, but do that via a lot of career searching to make sure that the plan that you're creating makes sense. So, a career plan essentially is a document that is relative to each person and is designed to help you understand the steps you're going to take throughout the course of your career. We call those action steps. You can also think of them as short term goals, really, as in order to help you get to your long term goal. One thing that a lot of schools like to do is to have you do these assessments. Now, most schools assume that people are younger, when they start out, or sometimes even if you're older, maybe you've been in one career for quite a while and now you're transitioning into this new career, but maybe you don't even know how you're going to fit into this career. So they have you do these self assessments, and we're going to have you do one here in this class. Some of you may have done them before, Myers-Briggs tests and things of that nature, just to help you think through what your skill sets are, and what you have an aptitude towards. These will help you to create goals that will be part of your plan. And the goals that we're talking about is in this course are called SMART goals. That's not designed to be condescending. That's an actual acronym that we're going to use to help us create these goals. So, what you're going to do this week is to create two long-term goals. And when we get into a SMART goal, we'll talk about what that looks like. And then in a few weeks, you'll create these short-term goals, but it'll be after you've gone through some activities, doing research and talking to people and what we call informational interviews, kind of what we discussed yesterday. And once you have enough data, then you're going to create these short-term goals that are going to get you to your long-term goal. And then your final project will be you putting it all together in a summary report. So the first step is to take a self-assessment. And what is that? It helps to measure yourself, your actions and your attitudes as it relates to your career and what your career performance is going to be. The information provides you information about your aptitude, your ability, your personality, and your values. So when we talk about aptitude, what does that mean? It means things that you have a natural ability to do. Some of you may not even recognize your natural ability until someone else says, "Oh, you're really good at this, or you're really good at that." Give me a thumbs up if someone has ever told you that and you didn't even realize that you were really good at X, right? For me, I've been told even when I was younger, right? And half the time it's probably something that you don't even consider a talent. I don't know about you, but I know even when I was like 10 years old, I remember people always telling me, "Cynthia, could you stop trying to teach people stuff? Could you clock out? Everybody doesn't want to be trained, right?" And then years later, I took this self assessment. It's like, "Oh, you'll be a really great teacher, a scientist, or somebody that deals with very logistical type stuff." And I'm like, "What is that? I thought I wanted to be a doctor." So I'm like, I definitely don't want to be a teacher, because trust me, my vision is to have me a condo on the beach in Hawaii. Like, I definitely want the MONEY, if you know what I'm talking about. So I was not thinking about teaching at all. And then years later, of course, what am I most successful at? Well, part of what I'm most successful at is teaching. It's just interesting that it worked out that way. But even as a kid, one of the things that I had a big aptitude for is reading. My happiest time for me is when we went to the library. Do anyone remember going to the library as an elementary kid and you had 15, 20 minutes to pick out a book? Y'all remember those trips to the library? Do they still have that? That was a big thing during my time. And I would get super excited going to the library. Okay, we got some library. Oh, they still do that? Please don't tell me they don't do that anymore. That would be embarrassing. Um, And that would be my happiest time. And then when we went to the public library, I was in heaven. You would have thought I was at the movie theater. I thought that these people were crazy, that they were just letting us check out all this information for free. And I was like, all this is free? To me, it was like free education. I was such a nerd. Even until this day, I have books everywhere. If you look in my house now, all you see books, books, books everywhere. I have to read, consume a lot of information. We won't talk about how long I've been in school and college, the degrees that I get for who knows what reason. It's because I have to absorb information. And so as a kid, I had no idea I had the aptitude for that. My daughter, for example, she's really good. She has great hand-eye coordination. I can call this kid from across the room and I'm like, here, catch. And she'll turn around and catch it like an NFL player. If you throw something at me, I'm going to scream before it even leaves your hand because I wear glasses. I don't want you hitting me. I'm not going to catch it. I'm probably going to break a nail. Just don't do it. I tried softball. It did not work well for me. But this kid probably she she has the best hand eye coordination, it is definitely a talent that I do not have. So some of us have these abilities that are natural for us and you may know it and some of it you may not know. So these tests are good for that. Additionally, you may have a natural ability for something too, which typically sometimes goes hand in hand with aptitudes. It's just you have a capacity to do something to master a skill. Some of you may have a natural ability to take tests. You may have a natural ability to put things together, right? Anybody know what their natural ability is? You don't have to tell me what it is. Just give me a thumbs up if you kind of have figured it out. It's always good when you can figure out what your natural ability is because sometimes you're able to use it to make money. And they say that you tend to make the most money when you do something you're natural at, right? And that does hold true. Now, I've had a lot of careers. For those of you that hadn't met me, I was in the military, I was in finance, ran nonprofits, I'm a consultant. And what I have done consistently for almost 20 years is teach, even though I've done other things. But one thing that has always stood out is teaching, curriculum writing. I'm a writer, and it keeps coming back to me, even though I keep trying to run away from it. We'll see what happens, but it's just the natural thing that I do because I actually like it, right? We can always tell when a person likes doing something and when they're doing it for the money, right? Like I actually like teaching, because I don't know, I get excited to tell people stuff. I don't know what that's about, but that's an ability that I have. Your career also depends on your personality too, right? We've all met people that are in customer service, for example, that we know that they really need another profession like yesterday. um, Other people, they do great in their personality. Can you imagine someone that didn't really love animals, any VA people, and they're in the in the veterinary field? Like, excuse you, I do not want you touching my dog, right? Like, you kind of want to like what you do, and you want to have the personality for it. Like, you need to have the skills to be in the professions that you're in. So these personality tests and one that you're going to do today, they help you not it's not well, I guess it's a social science, to understand what your personality is. It's even going to tell you like, oh, you'd be really good at this if you've ever tried that, right? And then lastly, your values. Now, your values obviously are going to take into account anything that you do because you want to make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with who you are as a person. Now, I'll tell you, I was working for the federal government, and y'all heard what happened to us, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got kicked to the curb, but that's all right. I got kicked to the curb too. It took all our contracts, it took all our buddies, right? Y'all, yeah, it's a real thing. And then I also was supposed to go work for the USPTO office in the patent office. And that got froze out too. So, I guess Donald Trump just does not want my services. And, why did I even bring that up? Oh, but now it's like I'm be honest with you, everybody's waiting for all the unfreezing to happen. I'm not sure how much you guys follow this stuff, but I don't even know if I want to do it now, to be honest. Like I have uh um I'm in my feelings a little bit. Any veterans in the building? I'm a veteran. I don't know if anybody is a veteran or have family that are veterans. I'm in my feelings. Like, why are they talking about us like that? We have dedicated our lives. Some people have been in the federal government 20, 30 years. That's a lot of institutional knowledge. You're just kicking to the curb, saying they're just riding the system. But I'm like, that's a lot of knowledge you're kicking to the curb. I don't know about you. Do you want somebody that just learned the job yesterday doing your work, or you want somebody that's at least been in it 20 years doing it? I don't know. I may take door number two, for 300, Alex. Like, I don't know if I just want people just roaming around doing stuff, just because, they have a job as opposed to someone that knows what they're doing, but that's neither here nor there. But I'll be honest, I don't know if I would take that. I actually had to switch, lanes a little bit. Um, I'll have, hopefully, if I graduate next year, I'm actually in law school. Yet the learning never stops. And I'm supposed to graduate next year. I was supposed to go work for the USPTO office, but now I have to think about what's going to happen because I do have concerns, right? I have concerns about, whether I want to work there or not, and that's part of my value system. So, this idea of working somewhere, and is it in alignment with your value system is a real thing. So, why is knowing your skills important? If you've ever done a job search, which I think 99% of us have you ever noticed that the job description always lists the hard and soft skills? Some people call them technical skills. Have anyone ever noticed that? If you ever read a job description, it'll always start with the technical skills. Like if you're in the VA, it's going to say, we want you to know how to do a catheter. We want you to know how to do, restraining animal. And then what does it do? It 90% of the time is going to follow up with soft skills. And what are those soft skills? So, with the technical skills, it's always going to be, yes, we want you to be a VA. We want you to be, looking on the right-hand side of the screen here, a welder or the project manager or the data analyst. Yes, we want you to have those technical skills. But excuse me, sir or ma'am, we also want you to have soft skills. Like you cannot work in the VA department and not have patience. Can you imagine working with an animal and not have patience? Like you need to have teamwork and good active listening skills, good communication. If you're working in construction, you already know you need to have some flexibility, right? Because things never work out as they're supposed to because there's a lot of different people on a team in a construction company. And if that's where you're going to work. And so it's gonna require you to have some flexibility. So just having technical skills is not enough. When you read these job descriptions, and you're going to do an exercise where you have to go and read job descriptions, and you're going to have to identify what the hard skills are and what the soft skills are, right? So that's another reason why it's important for you to know what your skill set is, what you do well at, if you haven't been told. Now, those of us that are as old as dirt as me, we kind of know what some of our skill sets are because we've been told over and over and over again, even if you don't know. So you got to you have a sense of, where you fit into the spectrum in terms of industries and the type of jobs that make sense for you. For myself, definitely as much as I come across as maybe personable, I am an introvert, and most introverts are very deceiving. Any introverts in the building, you would never know we don't like being around people. Like, how do I have a job teaching and I don't like being around people? Brett, is that you? Oh, good. Yes, Charlie. For all the people in the back, telling the truth. It's okay. We're a family here. We can be honest with each other. I need to recharge. Teaching class, and sometimes if I have to consult, That's enough for me. I don't need any more interaction. I get enough interaction on my day job. I talk to no one. When I tell you I talk to no one, I talk to no one. I have a daughter, that's it. Even though I have family here, they may hear from me once a year. It is embarrassing. Yes, I know. But I need time to recharge. I am a true, true, true introvert. I got a lot going on in my head. I talk to myself. Isn't that right, introverts? We talk to ourselves. We have enough dialogue to last us a lifetime. Um, and I know that about myself. I didn't know that about myself in my 20s, right? I didn't know that was the type of person that I was. All I knew is that I liked jobs where I was kind of by myself. And I was like, that is so weird, Cynthia, because you seem like you're a nice person. But it wasn't because I didn't like people. It was because I'm so in my head. I'm such an introvert. I like to do things where I can think. I can hear myself think out loud. I can be very strategic. I'm very task oriented. If you're the type of person that likes to write things down, who likes to write things down with those little square boxes and put those little check marks or highlight things when you're done? Oh, that means you're a very task oriented person. Oh, we love our check marks, don't we? You probably have a writing pad. If I have so many notepads, I even have electrical notepads, and I have to write things down. Not because I'll forget them, but it gives me personal satisfaction when I'm able to put a check mark or I can cross through the line. It makes me feel like I've accomplished something. Those people are task oriented people. Now, it works very well in certain jobs. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been at a job that I have not done well at, not excelled at, because I'm task oriented. Why does that matter? I'm the type of person, that could be my military background as well. When I go to a job, I'm like, what do you want me to do? I write it down, I do it, I get to put that little check marks in, I've done it. And I'm like, yeah, I've done it, boss. Anything else you need me to do? And they're like, geez, you're great. Yeah, I'm corny like that. I like to just get things done so I can put a check mark by it. And so people love that. Obviously, civilians love it. In military life, that's just what you do, because you're trying to get to the end of the day before you have to start again. But in civilian life, they love that work ethic. And it's not a real work ethic for me. I just like to get things done because I like my check marks. But anyway, um, technology also is going to be very, very big in your career. How many people know or have noticed how technology has changed the industries that you're in? How many people have noticed that? You probably have even noticed it since you've been in class, right? Everybody, right? Especially probably welding. I've seen some technology with your stuff. Um, definitely electrical. Yeah, you guys are gonna be. Y'all already got handheld electrical systems and all kinds of stuff like that. And probably in the VA department too. So imagine 5 years from now, 10 years from now, technology is going to be so important. In the book, it talks a lot about the technology skills you need to do your administration work, but you're going to need a lot of technology skills to do the technical stuff too, the hard skills as well. So technology is going to be, ever present in your world. It ain't going nowhere. It's just going to increase over time. But I think we kind of have all have seen that. So since we want you to do some long-term goals, I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about this process. And we're going to do a few together so you'll understand. And this week, I want you to set 2 long-term goals. And as it relates to your career plan, right? Because this whole class is about making sure you have some direction that you're going in before you embark on your career. So the first step is to set a long-term goal. Let's see. Any electricians in the building? Do I have any electricians? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, I got one, two, three. Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, 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 good. Okay, good. So y'all tell me now. So I'm gonna use you guys as an example, and y'all gotta help me with this. All right. All right. So I'm going to set a long-term goal as an electrician. My long-term goal is to be, well, I'm going to set two and one. Because you need two anyway. All right. So I'm just going to do two and one. My long term goals are to become a master electrician and to start my own business. And to start my own business. All right. So now I'm about to break each one up. So my first long-term goal is to become a master electrician and to start my own business within 6 years. No. Sorry. No. My first goal is to become a master electrician within 6 years. My second long term goal is to start my own business within 10 years, my own electrical, let's say low voltage electrical business. Maybe I want to put up CCTVs or something, in like places like the airport. Y'all electricians with me? Y'all let me know if I'm messing it up. All right. Now, so let's look at my first long term goal. My first long term goal is to become a master electrician in 6 years. Electrical guys, y'all gonna tell me if that's good, but we got to see if it passes SMART test. So let's go down the acronyms. Go ahead, Shavar. I don't know if your hand is up or you're just agreeing. Okay. So, is it specific? My first long-term goal is to become a master electrician within 6 years. Is that specific? Give me a thumbs up, especially my electrical guys. Y'all got to help me. Is that specific or not? Y'all with me? Okay, okay. I'm doing good. All right, so it passed the S test. Is it measurable? Is it measurable? To become a master electrician in 6 years. Okay. Now, here comes the hard one because I don't know if I can do it in 6 years or not. So I'm nervous about these thumbs. Is it attainable? Can I become a master electrician in 6 years? Oh, thank God. Okay, they say yes. 6 years is good because go ahead, David. I don't know if your hand is up or you're giving me a thumbs up. Okay. I can become a master electrician in 6 years. Okay, good. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay. Is it realistic? If it's attainable, that means it's realistic, right? Electrical guys, it's realistic for me to become a master. If I'm starting out where you guys are starting out, I can do it in okay. It's realistic. I'm almost there. And did I put a specific time limit on it? I said within 6 years, so I did put a T on it, right? I said 6 years. It's time bound. So did my first long-term goal pass the SMART test? It did, because guess what? I can measure it. It's specific. It's timely. It's realistic. I did not say I want to become a master electrician in 2 years, did I? Because then you guys would have been talking about me and be like, where's the chat box? I need to let her know that's not going to happen, right? But I can do it in 6 years. Okay. I've heard different timelines, but I'm glad y'all said 6. Okay. Now, I've become a master electrician in 6 years. Now, from 6 to 10, that's 4 years. I want to be able to start my own business. All right, y'all. Does that pass the SMART test? Is it specific? I want to start my own business as a master electrician within 10 years. Okay. It's measurable because I said 10, right? Is it attainable? I'm nervous. Can I do it? Okay, they say it's attainable. So it is realistic then if it's attainable. All right. I just set my 2 long-term goals and they both passed the SMART test. Did you see what I did there? What did I not do? I did not say, ooh, I want to be a successful electrician. I want to make enough money to feed my family. What's the issue with those? Those are what we call, those are dreams. Those are aspirations. They are not goals. How many times have you heard somebody say, I want to make enough money to be happy? I'm like, well, you don't want to ask me what that means because me, I don't think there's any amount of money that can make me happy. That I'm not greedy. That's not. I'm just saying, like, I like being independently wealthy. I don't think it's about the money per se, but I just don't think, working for somebody is going to make me happy. Now, I love teaching. I don't even consider this working, even though they do pay me. But I am a consultant. I don't think I'll ever want to go back to working for someone, outside of teaching. because this I do naturally. Everything else is work to me unless I'm doing it for myself. And that's another reason why I knew I was an entrepreneur, because I actually want to get paid for the effort that I put in. Am I wrong for that? Anybody like that? I am a show me the money type person. I'm not greedy. My family's like that. My brother's like that too. He's been working for the for the health department for 26 years. Like I'm like, if I put in, I like doing project work, because if I take on 2 projects, I can get this amount of money. If I take on 3 projects, I get that amount of money. And I'm motivated by that. It's not that I'm motivated by the money. I'm just motivated by, I don't know, the more I do, the more I get. I don't know. I'm task oriented. Again, you really got to know your personality. You see how that works? As people may say, oh, do you like making money? I'm like, no, not necessarily. I don't go out. I'm not a flashy type person. I just like knowing that if I put the effort in, I'm going to get some type of reward on the back end of it. Does that make sense? And I know that about myself. Like I'm not shy about that. That's just how I move. So you got to know how what motivates you. So again, you're going to set 2 long-term goals this week. And then in week 3, after we've done research and we've done some informational interviews and you'll learn what those are about, you'll do the short-term goals, and they still have to pass the SMART test, that are going to get you to each long-term goal. Because guess what? And I'm sure the electricians will say yes to this. If I want to become a master electrician in 6 years, are there some things I need to do? I can't just wish upon a star, right? That's not going to happen. And I can't just, you know, I guess, if I'm with you guys, graduate from this program, I still need to do some other stuff, right? So there are going to be short-term action steps or short-term goals, thank you, that I need to do in order to get to the end goal of that long-term goal. And you're going to be setting those short-term goal steps. But for this week, you're just going to give me 2 long-term goals. Does anyone have any questions on that? All right. So give me 1 second. I have somebody, student texting me. I'm trying to tell them I'm in class. All right. So, when it comes to your career, then your career path, it's a strategy. Did we see? It is a strategy, no? Right? Back in the day when you graduated, let's say you became like an accountant, they would say, what type of career path are you going to take? Are you going to take like a career ladder or a career lattice? Anybody ever heard of career ladder? Well, that means, okay, you graduate with some type of skill. Let's say I'm an accountant, and then you just work your way up to the top. Like you just go from being an entry level accountant to 3 years in the game makes your career. Then maybe you become a tax accountant. You specialize in that. Maybe you start running a division, and then maybe eventually you become the CEO. That's like a standard straight line career ladder. A career lattice is probably would make more sense for like a what we just discussed. Maybe you start out as a electrician tech, then you go back to school, or maybe you put some years in, and then you're able to sit for some other, I don't know what goes in between that and a master electrician, but you guys do. But like, let's say if I'm in the VA program, maybe I want to be a VA, and I think what is it, a year or two, then you can go be a veterinary tech, and then maybe you go back to school to be a veterinarian. So your ladder, your career progression will look a little different from a ladder. It may be you start out here as this specialist, then you move over to another specialist before you move up. So maybe I go from being a VA, go back to school to being a VT, then maybe I may get promoted to like a supervisory role, or and then maybe I go back to school again, then I get promoted again to be something, a little bit more specialized. So it doesn't really matter how it looks as long as you get to the top, whether the top is being the top of a company or the top of your own company, right? There still has to be some type of progression. Doing your career portfolio is LinkedIn, and we're going to get into that. And chapter 1 is going to talk a little bit about your career portfolio. Um, Back in the day, I know I'm going to keep saying this. I got to come up with another term, but we used to carry around our portfolios before there was a LinkedIn. I never thought I would get to this point in my life, David, that I would be saying back in the day. Like, how did this happen? But I think technology did it. Like, when I say that, guys, I'm not even talking like I'm so old. I'm talking about like pre-technology back in the day. We used to carry around portfolios. Like when you went to an interview, you would have your resume, you would have like positive comments from a supervisor, you would have like a brief little sheet on the projects that you've done. Like you literally had a portfolio. They used to sell portfolios. That's why it's called a portfolio. Like if you ever Google it on Amazon or something, if they even sell them anymore, because we used to have to carry around our portfolio. And some people would like make them nice and glossy and they would pass them out in the interview. It used to be very expensive to interview back in the day, but now that's what LinkedIn is. LinkedIn is your digital portfolio, and you're going to be setting up your digital portfolio in this class. So we'll talk more about that, but that's what chapter 1 is going to be discussing. So we talked a little bit about your career and what your career um, can look like as it relates to your personality. This is called a career persona. We're going to dig into that because that's going to be part of how you promote yourself when we get into talking about social media and networking. You're going to need some type of career persona. So we'll dig into that throughout this class as well. All right, we're at the end of our time here, so I want to give you your participation question. If there are no other questions, here is what you need to answer for tonight. We talked a lot about hard skills and soft skills, and hopefully by now you know what each of those are. So what I want you to do is to list for me 3 of your top hard skills, your technical skills, unique to your career, right? Um, 3 of yours. Now, if you we would like them to be your personal ones, but some of you are starting in your career. This is your first time in it. Maybe you don't have any true technical skills um, that you have personal to you yet, unless you feel comfortable saying, hey, I think I'm really good at this. This is a good technical skill I have. You can just list ones that are related to your industry. And then 3 soft skills, which you probably do have. You probably have what we call transferable skills. That means if you're a good team player, you're a good team player no matter where you go, whether you're in this career or this job or not. And that's what a soft skill is. So tell us what you think your 3 technical skills and your 3 soft skills are. That is your question for today. Do I have any questions on that? All right, my friends. Once again, I'm so glad Fort Myers is in the building with me. I was so nervous. I'm glad you guys made it here. Please make sure, go right now, guys. Go right now. Turn in this assignment so I can mark that attendance. Right? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Fort Myers, this recording will be up for you guys shortly if you need to go back to it. Central Florida.